Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Tuesday, December 13th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Parts of the Maritimes were hit with the first taste of winter last night, waking up to significant amounts of snow, forcing the closure of schools in parts of Nova Scotia and PEI. Snow developed over Cape Breton and the eastern shore of Nova Scotia last night and has been slowly advancing across parts of the north shore of Nova Scotia and will continue to do so tonight. The heavy wet snow over Cape Breton changed to rain has allowed some of that heavy wet snow that has fallen to melt, but has raised concerns about localized flooding given many storm drains are blocked. According to our weather specialist, Alistair Alders, the low will retrograde over PEI and New Brunswick tonight into early Wednesday and then slide southeast of Nova Scotia later on Wednesday. Precipitation clears Cape Breton and eastern mainland Nova Scotia later tonight and overnight, with remaining bands of light snow and flurries over northern and western Nova Scotia, clearing through Wednesday morning. Much of the province can expect sunshine and lighter winds on Wednesday to help in the cleanup over eastern Nova Scotia. And one part of the province that is feeling the impacts of the snowfall today is Antigonish, and that's where we find SaltWire's Aaron Beswick, who chatted with residents who spent the day dusting off and clearing out the snow.
In due time, Ezra and Phaedra Lowthers will learn that the perfect snowball is all about compression and shape. Packing it tightly adds mass, which translates into momentum when it is thrown at your younger brother. Shaping it into a uniform ball ensures it maintains a calculable trajectory. Depending on your mood, you may be aiming for the face or the body. But on Tuesday, Ezra 6 and Phaedra 4 just wanted to have fun as their father, Drake, cleaned northern Nova Scotia's first significant snowfall of the season off their car. After weeks of grey, cold rain, the northeast mainland and Cape Breton got walloped with 20 to 40 centimetres of snow and winds gusting up to 100 clicks. Some 10,000 were without power, but most seemed to be taking it stoically, even philosophically, like Jeremy Landry as he shoveled out the Brownstone restaurant on Main Street in Antigonish.
Moderation, so we get a little at a time, that's all right with me. As long as I stay busy, too.
Mm-hmm. What are the consequences of immoderation?
Too much work.
Too much work.
This is Aaron Beswick reporting for the SaltWire Network.
And speaking of the cold, the provincial government is looking for energy-efficient ways to heat homes in Nova Scotia. It was announced today that low-income Nova Scotians will get free heat pumps and other home upgrades, part of a 4-year, $140 million investment.
We're also doing more for the middle-income households with rebates in installing energy-efficient heating systems. This is through our Home Energy Assessment Program, which helps people tap into the federal Greener Homes program as well.
The idea is to move Nova Scotians away from oil heat faster. With the help of federal contributions, the funding will help around 13,500 low-income households and about 30,000 middle-income households. The money will start rolling out in the new year.
We were spending a lot of money on oil, and it was very uncomfortable in the summer as well. Then efficiency came and talked to us, and we they decided to put in blown-in insulation. They filled our outside window box and they filled our attic right up to capacity. And it completely, instantly changed our home from a place that you put up with to a place where you could live and be happy and be comfortable.
Low-income households can apply now to the Home Warming Program for free heat pumps and any electrical panel upgrades that are needed to be installed. All Nova Scotians can continue getting help with a variety of energy efficiency upgrades through the Home Energy Assessment Program. A tour was held at the new supportive housing units in Dartmouth this afternoon, which will soon become homes for people experiencing homelessness. The tour at what is now known as the Overlook was a chance for the housing minister to see the project for the first time since it was announced in January. The 65-unit building is the former Travelodge Hotel. It's operated by the Affordable Housing Association of Nova Scotia and the North End Community Health Centre. The federal government and HRM contributed $6.5 million, while the province provided $3.5 million to purchase the former hotel and will cover $1.9 million in annual operating costs. Tenants will start moving in soon. As of the end of November, shelters in HRM were full and there were nearly 700 people experiencing homelessness. Cornwallis Street is officially being renamed to Nora Bernard Street. Regional Council approved the renaming of the street today to Nora Bernard, recipient of the Order of Nova Scotia. Bernard was a residential school survivor and activist who successfully demanded compensation for residential school survivors. The name change comes after consultation over the past year with residents across HRM. The street will change names in October 2023. The Dartmouth Micmac Mall area could be getting a major facelift with a development that would add more than 2,000 units to the lands. Halifax developer Joe Ramia and an unnamed group of investors bought the Micmac Mall in 2021 with the intention of further development. Their plans for the 20-hectare property have been presented at the Halifax Regional Council today as the start of a long planning process that will require several changes to land use bylaws and planning strategies. The development proposal includes 7 30 to 36-story residential towers on 2 podiums, approximately 1,660 units, 5 9-story residential buildings with retail at street level, approximately 350 units, a 12-story retirement facility, approximately 400 units, a 6 to 14-story addition to the west face of the existing mall building that includes parking, office space, and an entertainment space that connects to the mall. With that many people moving in, an upgraded transit hub will need to be considered. The current transit terminal serves 6 bus routes. The idea is to replace and add enough parking spots for the development and put the vast majority underground. For now, they're calling it M District. The work is expected to be completed through 10 overlapping phases, taking several years in the hopes of causing minimal disruption to the mall and its tenants. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Dr. Ruth Laverne, a Dalhousie researcher, looking at family physicians of different generations.
Did anything in this exercise surprise you?
Do you know what? I'll be honest, the stories are so widespread and they line up with, pop culture explanations of generational differences. I think many people on the team expected that we would see that to some extent. The extent to which we saw no evidence of generational differences consistently across all 4 provinces came as a bit of a surprise to us. But I think once you think it through with respect to the fact that things are changing for everyone and the broader system changes and changes in how healthcare is delivered just are so much more important than when you happen to be born or enter medicine. So I think once you think it through, it all makes sense.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
I always knew how hard it would be. Part of that stopped me.
Here's part 3 of my conversation with ultra-marathoner Ryan Keeping, who on Saturday runs a 100-kilometer marathon for charity. Maybe each race is a little different, but overall, what's the feeling that you have when you cross the finish line and you're done and you've completed 50 miles or 80K or whatever the case may be? What does that feel like for you?
I'll be honest with you, the real feeling of enjoyment and the real feelings of accomplishment almost isn't the race day when you finish. It's the work you put in leading up. So you really have to find a way to love the process because for example, I'd always talked about running ultras and I know even when I ran my 50 miler, you finish and it's not you feel this super set, you're proud you did it, but it's more you really, really have to enjoy the journey. And that's what I'm getting better at is learning that when I finish this 100, there's going to be another goal and I'm going to keep progressing. So you really just have to love the progression of once this is done, I'm thinking about, okay, I want to do a 100-miler or there's this other race I want to do. So it's you have to really, really find a way to enjoy the process.
Learn more about Ryan's run coming up this Saturday at the Halifax Commons by visiting hoho100k.com. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires, for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, as a blast of winter took aim at parts of eastern Nova Scotia today, the complete opposite here in the HRM. We did have some clouds in our sky and a very brisk wind that was circulating around the center of the storm. So we got into a bit of wind, but we're certainly avoiding the precipitation with this storm, even as it retrogrades around us into our south tomorrow. This evening we'll have partly cloudy skies and the temperature will be near -5. Now we will see winds gusting 30 up to 50 kilometers per hour. They will start to diminish on our Wednesday, gusting 20 to 40 in the morning, then becoming light in the afternoon. But overall a fair day. In the morning we'll have mainly sunny conditions. The best shot at any flurries will be during the morning. That's the best shot at any precipitation from the storm system here in Halifax. And in the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud with the temperature heading up to the freezing mark. Now, we do have an unsettled weather pattern as we go for the second half of this week, all thanks to that ongoing Greenland block. That means we will have a tight pressure gradient between high pressure over Labrador and as well low pressure, this retrograding low that will sit southeast of the province. So a northerly flow will set up that will bring some showers that will develop over the water, a chance of showers here for Halifax Thursday, Friday, and then a more organized weather system set to bring some wind and rain on Saturday. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SaltWire Today. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.